This is Ale, a designer that sold more than $500,000 worth of these decks right here. And today I wanted to come visit him because I've been told that since he started using Supercut, he's been closing more deals because besides selling these products, he's also a consultant helping teams in some of the best brands in the planet. So today he's gonna show us how he uses Supercut, not just to sell more, which we'll talk about at the end, but also to send proposals and send feedback internally.
Okay, so I'll show you, Alex. Here, what I have is all my library of different Supercut videos that I've been doing. One of them is to actually create leads. I'll show you one example. Here, I have a form in my website that people can send me different answers on how their team works. So I have like few questions, they answered in, and it helps me make a diagnosis, an assessment, quick assessment for the teams.
So you offer like some like short free assessment on your website for like teams that want to know how they collaborate or
exactly
something like that.
And after that, I gain these insights and I send them like a mini report on how the team is performing and what I think it could be improved. First, I introduce myself and tell them a bit about what we do at Triggers, and then I go and jump into the questions that they've been answering, and through them I can have insights. Here's me explaining in what maturity phase I think they're in their team, and I also go through different aspects of the questions that they're being answering.
And why use Supercut to do that?
Well, for me, Supercut is super useful because if I just send them a text or an email, I know they're not going to look at it, right? But if I send them a video and say, hey, there are some insights about your team here, they immediately become interested. And then when they see the video, they get engaged with it.
Oh, I see.
And also I use a tiny trick in my videos that I'm going to show you what I do to make them a bit more interesting. So as you can see here, this is a Supercut with a keynote on the background. But as you can see, I'm underlining things and I'm painting things on the slide, right?
So that's actually really interesting. How does it work?
Okay, so what I do is I open Keynote on my Mac. I prepare the presentation there, whatever I have, and then I go on my iPad, open the Keynote 2 and use it as a remote controller. I press play and then I have here my presentation, right?
Damn, I didn't know about this.
I have to record my Mac, but what I do here is I can just like move through the different slides, and at the same time, when I click on it with my Apple Pencil, I can just like underline things, paint things, and just like, highlight whatever I want.
That's fire.
And this is, just this tiny detail, it makes everything much more engaging for clients.
I love it. This is like such a smart way to like keep attention and like actually direct it through the content so it's more engaging, and I'm sure like you get way more retention.
100%. I think that's also what I really like about Supercut. It's so simple that it makes you play with technology in such a fun way. So yeah, it's amazing.
That's pretty sick.
Another like simple way for me to use Supercut is to send feedback internally. So when we work on different things, I just record, for example, in this case, I was just sending my colleague some feedback on a leaflet that we're designing and about the cover and about the content inside. And I just recorded myself saying what I wanted to change. So that was much more easier than just go and on a Slack, write everything down, look at like page number 5, page number 7. So this is much more direct.
So do you think that's one of like the main benefits, the fact that like you not just explain things faster, but then also people can receive them and like process them faster?
This is no brainer. To be honest, if you also work on a remote environment, you need to use tools like this, because if not, everything else is just like so tedious, right? And even, because at Supercut, that's another cool thing, you get the transcript of everything you're saying. Even if at the end of the day, you want to get a summary of it, you have it here, you have the whole transcript, and you can just like put in as a summary in one of the features, or just like pass it through another AI that helps you get the final summary of it.
I love how you're like much more proficient at using Supercut than I am. So this is pretty cool. I come here to show the audience how you use it, and I'm learning from you already. So that's pretty sick.
I love this kind of tools. So for me, it's just and it's so simple to use. To be honest, the learning curve is so short, so it's not a big deal.
And do you think like the AI chapters and like summaries and stuff like that are useful for like other people? Do they think they go through it or they just watch the video?
No, to be honest, I use it a lot. And actually, it's quite surprising. The chapters, like, I mostly never do any edits on it.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it gets really well, the different chapters. And, I mean, if you want, you can also try to make it a bit more evident, by saying, okay, first part, we're gonna dig into this, and then it just makes it super, super clear.
Because the way the chapters work is the AI will use the transcript of the video, and then with that text create the chapters. I have a question that I think it's a mandatory question, and most of the people watching, I'm sure they're asking this themselves. Like, why would you use Supercut instead of like any other screen recorder in the market? It's like there's a few already.
Okay, so first of all, I'm a former graphic designer, so I have to say, like, the design and the brand of Supercut, it's much better than any other out there. I like it's so simple, it's fun, it's charming, it's really nice. And to be honest, what I really love the most is the different layouts that you can do with your videos, because it records separately, right? Like your camera and the screen. So then you can just change it around, cut it off, and do different edits.
Which means, by the way, that even though this Supercut that he's showing right now was recorded when? Like, probably like weeks ago? Mm-hmm. You could even now go, and if you wanted to, you could now edit the layout and start changing. Can I do that?
Yeah, go for it.
So you could like start changing the layout here, or put Ale here bigger so it has more presence and the presentation behind, and it even adds this like very nice background color that fits very well with this slide actually, which we probably selected.
Yeah, of course.
Or you have like your regular like square there or like circle there, which is like probably more popular. You can do this like even 2 weeks later, which is something that you can't find in other screen recorders. All right, so this was already very interesting, but I came here because I want to learn how to use Supercut to close more deals. So before that, if you're already enjoying this video, I would ask you to support the channel by subscribing to it, and like we'll bring you more videos like this, and also hit that like button so we can reach more people. Now let's talk about how you close more deals with Supercut.
The last use I'm gonna show you is for sending proposals.
That's what actually caught my attention, because you said that since you started using Supercut, like you close more. How does this work?
I mean, look, if you're a solo founder like me, at the end of the day, your company relies so much on your charisma and the way that you express yourself. So you want to be on brand, but brand doesn't mean the colors or the type. It means the energy at the end of the day, right? So, and I know I'm much better selling something from my company when I'm at the room, when I'm at the meeting, than if I'm an email. Like I can't sell the same way in an email. For the moments that I can't be on the meeting because they're in another country or because we already met and I just need to send a proposal, I much prefer sending a Supercut than a cold email saying, hey, this is the PDF, there you find the budget, there you find the proposal. Sending them by, again, explaining yourself, introducing, explaining the different, how you wanna, what you wanna focus on, using the highlights again. And even with with the parts, like saying, okay, this is gonna be the most important part, then we're gonna go into that one. Also, because when you send a PDF with some text, because we don't have time never to just read all these things, you can just like do the summary and guide your client through the most important part. Even when you explain the budget, you can just say already like why the budget is the right one for the proposal. I just think it makes everything much more human.
That's also such a great sales technique to, like probably like you've been in a situation where like someone, was selling you life at like an insurance or like a bank, some product or something like that. And they will have the stuff printed out and then we'll start circling stuff. So like it got your attention and it just like feels like you're more drawn into it. Like I had never seen anyone use Supercut like this. And, I might actually start doing this myself because I think it's like pretty sick.
If you have a company also that is a small company or medium size and you want to send a human kind of feeling, you want to make your client understand that you're taking them seriously and you're taking them in a personalized way. You know, you're not just try to sell churros for a lot of different people. What you're doing is something very personalized and very like, hey, this is for you. So I took my time, even if it's just like 3-4 minutes of your time, to explain you why this proposal is for you, not for some kind of like default thing.
And why wouldn't you just jump on a call with them, for example? Like, wouldn't that be even better?
Right. Like if your client has time to meet you every time you want, right? So no, come on. Like that's like, oh yeah, can you do on Tuesday? No, I can't. Can you do on Thursday? No, I'm in LA. No, I'm in Thailand. Like, no, come on. Like with different time differences, schedules, send them a Supercut and then they can just watch it on their own.
So you just hit them when they're warm and like hot and they're ready to buy, I guess.
Yeah. And also
just like waiting for a week till they're available.
Yeah. And also to be honest, if you're smart, you will record the video when you're high on energy. So you will show the best of yourself, not when you're tired, right?
Right. All right, Ale, well, it's great to see how you use Supercut and especially to learn this little trick that actually makes a big difference how you can sell and close more deals. Now, if you want to learn more about Ale and the business he's built to sell over $500,000 worth of these decks and how he helps the best companies in the world create better processes and be more efficient, we've created a video for you where we explain all of this and even some tips that you will be able to implement in your business. It's linked right here, and if you're interested, we'll see you right there.